everyone. Welcome to the Nintendo Prime Podcast, episode 111. I am your host with the most, Nathaniel Rufflechance, and to my left and your right, as always, is
Eric Moore.
And we have a special patron on this week, Mr. Andrew243. How's it going?
Good. I have returned.
He has returned. It's been what? It's been a while, like a month?
Mario Maker 2 wasn't announced before the last time I came on.
All right then.
So it was pre-E3.
Yeah.
So here's the deal, folks. If you would like to be on an episode of the podcast, head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Prime. $20 a month gets you on an episode of the podcast, or at least an opportunity to be on. I need to be open and honest, and this is actually a note to our $20 backers we have. If you want to be on the podcast and take advantage of the $20, you have to sign up. We have a post that goes up on Patreon at the beginning of every month, and you need to sign up. And if you don't sign up, then you don't get on. I've done the individual contacting people before, and it just becomes a huge hassle on my end versus having it all centralized where I have a post. Go to it. Sign up. It's for $20 backers only. So I might do one reach out in July to each of the $20 backers and kind of remind them to take advantage of it. But if they just have no interest in it, then okay, thanks for the $20 that you're not taking advantage of. Yeah. We have other tiers as well. $10 and up, you get to watch our podcast as it's recorded. So you guys actually get the podcast early, essentially. Our $5 and up backers get the audio version early on Sundays. So the $10 and up backers, even if you don't catch the video version live, you will get to watch it like literally as soon as it's done recording. So that'll be available for you early as well. We do record our podcast on Thursdays to release publicly on Mondays at 10 a.m. So if you are listening to this podcast when it's public and live and you want to get it earlier, well, those are how you get it earlier. That being said, we do need to shout out a bunch of patrons because we do shout outs for all of our, I think it's $10 and up or $5 and up. I can't remember.
I think 5. I think there's 5s in there.
Well, it automatically sends it to me.
I don't know.
There's no order to it.
Yeah, there's a,
I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's $10 and up. So $10 and up.
I thought there was a 5. No, there's a 5.
What the heck? Hey, you know what I think it was, though? I think they were higher than that at the beginning of the month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's possible.
And I think there's 2 copies. Maybe. I don't know. I saw Neil Willis listed twice. Neil Willis, what are you doing?
Right? Attention, Neil Willis.
Haven't even seen him on a live stream in forever. Anyways. All right. Let's just get through this and thank all of our patrons, I guess, from maybe the $5 and up, whatever it happens to say on this piece of paper. It says I owe 28 people thanks on Patreon. So we're going to go with that. And next month I'll double check that to make sure it's actually doing it right.
Right.
Anyways. So I apologize if any of this gets butched because it's a little weird. Be Righteous.
Yes.
Thank you so much. He is a $20 backer on Patreon. Got the next one, man?
Corey Baum.
So, Corey Baum, I know it says 10 right now. He actually is a $50 backer for this month. Oh. He downed it for 10 for July, so it doesn't sound as good now. But he was a $50 backer. Thank you so much for that extra support while we went to E3. I greatly appreciate that. Next up is Neil Willis. Has him at $5 now. I thought he was a little higher, but maybe he's only at 5.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Mr. Two Holmes.
$20 backer for 2 homes. Obviously, we have the one, the only, Mr. Andrew243, who's on this podcast right now. Thank you so much, man.
Oh, no problem. Anytime.
$20 backer right there. We have Robert Wood as well at $20. Robert, my man, where have you been? Where have you been, man? Thank you for supporting, but you used to be in the Discord all the time. Well, that's another benefit you get. You get the access to the private Discord stuff. So, Robert, man, hit me up. Let me know what's going on in your life, man. I miss talking to you.
Then we have Mr. Robert D. Smith the Fourth.
Yep, $20 backer. Look at all these $20 backers. Guys, take advantage of your benefit. You're a $20 backer. Let's go. Let's see here. Edward Norton. He does take advantage of his backing at $10. He does. Often watches
the only one that ever.
Well, if he doesn't watch it live, he usually catches it like when he has time on Fridays and stuff. And it's like, hey, at least someone's taking advantage of it.
Right.
And I think Corey was taking advantage of it, and that's why, because he was a $5 who jumped to 50, dropped down to 10. I think he likes having this early access.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. And then we have Zenith.
Yep, Zenith at $10. Next up is Roy Elmer, who is also a $10 backer. Please, guys, take advantage of... I can, see who views things, so please take advantage of your stuff. What do you got here?
Mr. Lord Platypus.
What a beautiful
fantastic name.
That's a $10 backer right there. Cody Shadley, thank you so much for your $10. Who else?
Then we have Fool of a Took.
Fool of a Took. I haven't seen your live streams in a while, man. Show up. Thank you so much for the $10. Mark Buhager as well, $10. Is this a repeat?
I think that's it.
I think there's a repeating.
Yeah, we're repeating back again. Edward, Roy.
Yeah. Why did it do that? It's like that copy pasted twice.
You might have.
I don't know. Apparently that's 28. I didn't feel like
28. We apologize. Technical printer difficulties.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's some $5. I don't know. You know what, guys? If you didn't get shouted out, here's the deal. All of you patrons, I greatly appreciate you. I don't even care if you're just at the $1 tier or if you're just someone who used to be a patron and you're no longer a patron. I know how that goes. There's probably been 15, 20 patrons over the time that's been with us and aren't doing it anymore. I thank you for your support in the past, any of that support in the present. You guys make this podcast possible. You guys make a lot of what I do possible. It is a regular paycheck that supports Nintendo Prime and everything we do here. So thank you so much. I know it feels weird. Someone pointed this out to me the other day. You're gonna thank patrons? You're at the lowest you've been in like a year because our Patreon's now down to like $250 or whatever. But it's okay, because you know what happens? People got bills. They got lives. We still have 50 people supporting this, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly don't think I deserve your support. So the fact that people think I'm worthy and think Eric is worth.
I am not worthy.
Saying Eric things too. And no, we still don't know who won the betting special, so don't ask.
God.
I know, okay? I know, okay? I'm almost through the E3 content, and then I'll finally start looking at that and have Eric double-check. I mean, some things might not need double-checking because it's not even close, like the number of snaps and whatever.
Yeah.
Because once it gets to a certain point, then you don't really have to count anymore. All right. So let's get right into the topics. And I think the first thing we need to start with, and we're just going to briefly touch upon this because it is a very serious topic. I did a video on it. Again, I don't want to make this podcast about it. I told people I'm not going to do any live streams about it. But I do think because it is such a serious thing, and this is kind of just another way to get the message out. We lost one of our own over the past week or so here. You guys all know the news. Daniel Desmond Amofa, a.k.a. Etika, allegedly appears to have taken his own life. He is definitely dead. Looks like he jumped off the Manhattan Bridge. This is, he, without getting too detailed, he basically premeditated this and had a suicide note through a video and a bunch of stuff. He was one of the biggest Nintendo content creators ever, inspired many of us. And the biggest thing that was very clear in his, he's been kind of going in a downward spot for 8 months, is you need to take your guys' mental health seriously. I know it's hard at times to admit you even have a problem, and that's like literally step one, is being able to admit you're not okay. And if that is ever the case where something's not right, you're sad and you can't stop being sad, you even have a fleeting thought that the world is better off without you, talk to someone. I don't care if it's your dog. I don't care if it's your parents, brother, sister, friends. I don't care if you reach out to me personally at nathan@nintendoprime.net. Talk to somebody. Yes, there's suicide hotlines and all that jazz, and we can put the numbers down there. And I know for some people it doesn't always work that well based on some cities you're in. They kind of rush you through the stuff and it ends up not helping much. But you know what? Talking to someone is at least self-admittance that there's something wrong. So please take care of yourselves. It's never worth giving up your life just because you're unwilling to basically talk. Because reality is, how you usually get to suicide is through depression, and I have firsthand experience with it. This guy to my left has a lot of experience with it. My fiance is well documented, has a long battle ahead with depression. I don't know if Andrew 243 has any experience over there with it, but it's definitely something that is serious, and I don't want it to deter too much from this, but I wanted to just say, rest in peace, Etika. I pray for your family. I pray for your friends and all of your fans that followed you all these years. I know we're all in mourning together, and stay strong. Remember, you're never alone unless you choose to be alone. Choose not to be. Talk to someone. There's always someone that's willing to care for you, even if you don't think they exist. All right. Moving on.
Well said.
Andrew243 wants to talk about Mario Maker 2.
Oh, yeah.
No surprise.
I cannot wait.
Last podcast he was on, we didn't even know this thing existed. So,
right.
Andrew, I want to let you take the floor. What do you want to say? What's this mean to you? Because by the time people hear this, it's already out.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's going through your mind right now? Super Mario Maker 2. It's reviewing really well.
This isn't Mario Maker. This is Super Kaizo Maker. I cannot wait to just get into the level builders, play with all the new tools they threw at us, all the fun traps you can do. It's going to just be so much fun levels. I can't wait. One of the few games that's going to really age well with time. And just based on how good the community for Mario Maker 1 was, I'm expecting this game to just be really huge and hopefully supported with DLC updates. And all the 3D World stuff looks amazing.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Mario Maker, like the original Mario Maker when it came out, felt like a forever game. Like, you're making Mario levels. How you can have forever DLC and keep it going, but it also released on a platform that didn't do well for Nintendo. And I know they brought it to 3DS, but it felt gimped, right? Especially since you couldn't share levels online. That was like a huge thing on 3DS that you couldn't do. So in many ways, I do think this game was built on the skeleton of Mario Maker because, I mean, one obvious sign of it is one major glitch from the original Mario Maker is in this one. Wouldn't be there if they rebuilt it from the ground up. So clearly they built it on what already existed. What are you going to do? Yoshi, Fire Flower, holding item, just, guys, no. No, it crashes the game. Don't do it. If you ever play Mario Maker, you know about this glitch. Don't do it. But yeah, it's Super Mario Maker 2 is, I think, just because it's releasing on such a prominent platform, I always wonder, like, is this it? Like, are we going to get another one? Because I feel like at this point, they've added slopes. They've added, heck, they're adding technically a 3D Mario game into a 2D space. Like, just crazy. I mean, the only next step from here is that we're making our own Mario 64 style levels at this point.
Oh, yes.
And that, to me, takes a whole new level of engineering compared to what this game is doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what? That would be so awesome.
What's interesting is a lot of the reviews I've read, because I'm not reviewing this game, so I can read them. Almost everyone's saying it's universally better than the original Mario Maker, but it's funny because they'll say it's better, but some of the reviews are actually lower scored than the original Mario Maker. Weird. And I feel like some people are maybe holding a little bit like, oh, you can't do the amiibo thing this time around against it. Or like because there is a couple features from the OG Mario Maker that aren't here, but there's so many new ones.
There's also a lot less shock value, too, for this one. You gotta know what we're getting.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, there's no real surprises coming.
Sure.
That's also not a bad thing, because I already know levels I want to make and all the toys I want to play with.
There you go.
All the toys. What are you most looking for? What tool set are you most looking forward to playing with?
I'm really looking forward to the 3D land stuff. I want to do those on-off blocks that were in, like, was it Super Mario Deluxe they first came into? There's just so many cool things, especially you can do kind of like, I don't know if you can make invisible blocks have the on-off switch on them. You can do some really cool stuff with that. You know, also I just love making like kind of like tutorial levels, like how to use the cape and doing like advanced tricks and stuff. So getting to play and make a bunch of those. Also, the fact that they updated, I think it was the keys. You know, keep your red keys whenever you get them in like the kind of little sub levels where you got to get through a door to finish.
Sure.
And also all the new flags you can do instead of having to post. I think what is it? There's collect all the coins or whatever.
Oh yeah.
That you can do. There's just so much stuff. I just want to play with everything.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's going to be an interesting one.
Even the new scrolling too.
Oh yeah, the scrolling. Yeah. I love the new auto scroll, and you can like mess with the speeds mid scroll.
Oh, I know.
Oh, it's going to create some crazy levels. Right. I'm waiting for the person that like does it, then all of a sudden, like it's going super fast, and then like all of a sudden it starts going backwards the other way.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be crazy. They'll be like, wait, what? You know what's gonna happen. Here's the thing. I am not that into builder games, right? Like Dragon Quest Builders, Minecraft, even Mario Maker. I made some levels. I suck at making it. Like once you go online and you see the levels other people make, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm done. I'm not making levels
I have no
anymore.
creative bone in my body.
I don't have that kind of creativity.
Yeah.
So I enjoy playing other people's levels. And what's interesting when you play other people's levels is you get to some of the difficult ones. And I start to realize just how bad at platformers I am.
Right.
Like, there's levels where there is no ground, and you're just jumping off enemies through spikes everywhere. How? And then, like, people are like doing, like, spin jumps on top of spike tag guy. I didn't even know you could do that until Mario Maker.
Yeah.
Like, that's how unskilled at Mario I really am. And yet I've beaten, like, every 2D Mario game. But I've just never had to use these abilities. So it baffles me watching someone like Bob Wolf or like someone who really masters this game, like streaming it. And I'm like, what is going on right now? Like the level of play you guys are at to even attempt these levels.
Right.
Like I feel like I'm like first time ever touching a controller.
Right.
So that's the thing about Mario Maker though is there's just so much. It's infinite content. It never ends. And yeah, they could DLC it. I don't know if they will. I mean, they haven't even really DLC'd Odyssey yet.
No.
So,
or maybe it's a Breath of the Wild thing where they just have too many DLC ideas that they're just going to go with a new game.
Have DLC.
Oh yeah, but I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like Super Mario Maker 2 could just be a forever game and never end. But I thought that about the first one. So. Do you guys think there can even be a Mario Maker 3 in the future at all?
Well, I mean, if they want to, it depends on how they want to split up new content for it. I mean, I'm sure eventually we'll see a new 2D Mario game with new kind of core mechanics added to it.
What will we? I mean, here's the thing. We haven't seen one since Mario Maker came out. And now we have Super Mario Maker 2. So, like, now we have 2 Mario Maker games before we see a new 2D Mario. I feel like 2D Mario Maker kind of killed it or cannibalized it or something.
Yeah.
Because we've seen a lot of the indie space too, just like new ideas that Mario could adopt. Like,
sure.
It doesn't have to be revolutionary, but I'm sure you can see new ideas added.
But then you go online and you play some of these Mario Maker levels, even the OG ones, and you're like, okay, these are ideas Nintendo never used.
Yeah.
And this is using tool sets Nintendo created. So I don't know. To me, anyways, I mean, this might be a bummer for some people, but I actually question, like, they gave us new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe because I don't think they plan to make another side-scrolling Mario game. That one didn't perform that well. I think that Mario Maker, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that another, like, standalone 2D side-scrolling, whatever, 2.5D can't exist. It's just, to me, I just go, why? When you have infinite levels already in side-scrolling Mario. Like, they could just add the tools they wanted using those to this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sales is obviously the big reason. But right. I do question, like, this, or you could buy Mario Maker with infinite levels. Because, like, it's not like anyone buys 2D Mario, especially for the story, so.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, I don't know. It's.
I know. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I'm so excited about it, but then I'm quickly reminded that we haven't had another 2D side-scrolling Mario since Mario Maker came out, which, like, to me means I don't know they're going to do that. No, the benefit of that is, by the way, if you like games like Odyssey and Galaxy and Mario 64, we should theoretically get more of those.
Right.
Instead.
Well, but the problem is, too, Mario Maker isn't kind of like a set A to B experience. It's very open. Like, I kind of do like some games where I just play it and it's like, all right, here's where I start and here's where I end.
Mm-hmm. But they have a single-player mode that is A to B.
But, I mean, they still have the added levels and, like, the endlessness. Mm-hmm. And it's not all, like, kind of Nintendo-approved. Like, you can make, really wicked levels.
Sure.
Like, even the hardest levels in Star Road and World don't compare to, the hardest levels that you're going to see out in...
But they have ways to curate it to just the Nintendo-made levels, too. Like, there's something like 200 or 300 Nintendo-made levels at launch that you can play within certain modes. So And that's my thing. Like Nintendo themselves could just keep making levels in this and keep adding things. So
yeah, definitely. Oh, and
I don't know. I'm just convinced we're not getting unless Mario Maker dies one day. I don't think we're getting a side-scrolling Mario for a long time.
It's possible that we get a third edition of Mario Maker, but I think it won't be until either a new revision, not like the next revision, but the one after that, or the next console. Because I could see them updating like a once per console type thing, or a couple.
Kind of like a Mario Kart.
Yeah, kind of like a Mario Kart, or a every other mid gen something. If they have multiple mid gens, I could see them doing that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but as for straight 2D, I don't know. It's possible. Never say never, but
I think one thing we gotta wait and see is how well does this game sell.
Right. There's that as well.
Because we haven't seen the full version of Mario Maker ever release on a system that it has momentum and is in the middle of its life. They released it on 3DS, but it was a gimped version. So now we have full Mario Maker 2. How's it going to do? We'll see. I mean, Andrew, do you have any guesses at how much you think this is going to sell?
I was actually just thinking about asking that. I want to say probably like 5 million around
what the first one do?
The end of the year.
I don't
and then
know.
depending if they had DLC.
I mean,
what did Odyssey do? 10 overall, I think, or it's at close to 11 now.
Odyssey? Odyssey's over. Yeah. Odyssey's almost at 15 million.
Yeah, so hard. I can see it doing really well.
Well, the thing is 2D Mario games have always outsold the 3D ones. It hasn't even been close. Yeah. But this is a unique kind of game, and I'm trying to remember what Mario Maker itself sold.
4 mil.
Okay, 4. But what did it do on 3DS too?
I don't think it did a lot. Was it like 1 million on 3DS?
That was on
Wii U.
Wii U was 4 mil. It just gave me the...
It didn't give you the 3DS ones.
There it is. Hold on just a second.
Is it on the top list?
Not on the top list.
So...
about 3 million, it looks like.
So
3 million.
So about 7 total?
Yeah, so I think, 5 million to me, I think is like the floor for this game. You gotta remember, Super Mario Party sold 6.4 so far. And still no DLC plans for that. Of course, it's the 11th Mario Party game, so they're just gonna give you another Mario Party game eventually. Yeah. That's why that's the real reason. They don't want to tell you that. But I do think that maybe we should get odd. It was 7 combined. I don't know if it's going to quite do that. I don't know that it's crazy to think this could do Splatoon 2 numbers. Splatoon 2, I think, is at 8.7 million right now. This is a make-your-own Mario game on a really popular system.
Yeah, I wonder if this is going to get packed in at some point, because they really haven't done a Switch packing game. Like, the Wii U had Mario Kart 8, and I think it was Smash and...
They've done packing games with Switch already. They've done Mario Tennis Aces at Walmart. They've done Splatoon. Yeah.
They had the actual kind of more bundles that they try to push the Wii U. Instead of dropping the price, how they just push the games with it for the same price. I think they'll do that with the Switch. And they'll probably do Let's Go, Zelda, Odyssey, and Mario Maker.
I hope so.
I could see them doing that going into the Switch Mini or the Switch Pro to kind of boost with that.
I don't know.
Even though,
I'm trying to think, for a long time, when they were doing the bundles with the 2DS, 3DS, and stuff, the bundles were all $40 more. So you were paying extra for the game. It really wasn't until late in the 3DS life cycle that they say, no, the bundles are going to be $200 with the game. And I think a lot of that was...
Yeah, they did it for sales to try to move more units instead of dropping the price, and the Switch obviously doesn't have that problem.
Yeah, so I don't know that they're going to... they'll offer bundles again, but I don't think they're going to lower the price for a while. Switch's momentum hasn't really slowed. And even in it being kind of slower right now, it's still leading in the NPD every month. And now, literally starting now with Mario Maker for the rest of the year, it's just getting hit with big game after big game after big game after big game. There's no reason.
It's also got no competition too.
Yeah, Switch sales are going to explode. So, I'm not going to say PlayStation 4 and Xbox. They're going to have Death Stranding, all the they're going to have their time this year.
Mm-hmm.
Gears 5 and all that, great, but like Switch is going to be killing it for the next 6 months. So I don't think we're going to, I mean, like it's kind of like what everyone says. I think we will see that price point when they're willing to drop the price of the Switch.
Well, I mean, the fact that they still haven't dropped a lot of the games prices.
Well, that's nothing new.
I know they never do, but
most of the Wii U games are still $60. So I mean, to be fair, you can go on Amazon and find them cheaper, but that's Amazon cutting price because they have too much stock of the game.
Actually, didn't the Wii U just actually get an update?
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy. With a platform that's
people still use it,
that's dead, quote unquote dead.
You can watch Netflix on.
Yeah, oh, there you go.
It's the only way to play your Game Boy games if you don't have a Game Boy.
It's the only way to literally have a Switch type Netflix experience.
Yeah, that's very true.
Oh man. So I guess we can move on to the next topic here. Speaking of classic games, so for a long time, the Nintendo Switch Online service, a little app for the NES stuff, has had like some SNES games in the code base, but Nintendo's basically said nothing about it. And this was months and months and months ago, and here we are still with like not even a faint whisper that they might actually add more games to the online service besides NES games. And if the rate of the NES games they're adding, they could be adding them for a decade, and we still won't be done with the library. So,
yeah.
Another thing that was interesting about all of this is back when Reggie Fils-Aimé ran Nintendo of America, he made a probably now infamous statement inside Nintendo that maybe wish he didn't say. The reason they stopped making classic systems, not just like selling the NES and SNES Classic, but the reason why I said the N64 Classic isn't coming and why Nintendo isn't going to do any more classic systems is because their virtual console replacement is going to be the Nintendo Switch Online service. But yet it's not actually replacing those classic systems, let alone replacing actual virtual console. Right. So, asked about what's going to happen with all these classic games on Switch and stuff moving forward at the latest financial briefing, Shintaro Furukawa had this to say. At this place, we cannot tell new information about future classic hardware, among others. I don't know what that means, among others. They obviously have something going on with hardware. I don't know what. But we're thinking about providing
translation too.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're talking possibly about like Mini and Pro rumors.
I also no. That's in a different question. This question was literally just about the NES Classic, SNES Classic, Virtual Console.
They said classic hardware.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking hardware among others, meaning hardware among the other rumors.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Classic hardware is they're talking about the NES Classic.
I realize that, but hardware, the hardware among others is where I'm talking. I know, but so is the Switch Mini, and so is the
no. Switch Pro. Literally had a separate question that was about the Switch Mini.
Sorry,
that's
my thought process.
I know. I understand the thought process. Investors are dumb.
Well,
and they ask very dumb, pointed questions.
We've gone over that on a podcast, actually.
Oh, sorry. The investors are actually smarter than me. They're way better off than I am. So congratulations to being successful at what you're successful at.
All right, back to the
anyway, so it says, but we're thinking about providing, we're thinking about it.
Yes, thinking about it.
We're thinking about providing an extension of the online service, which is currently providing Famicom NES software, as well as other methods of providing them. So, again, other methods that maybe have nothing to do with the online service. We also recognize that there are opinions of wanting to play past titles. The question was apparently specifically about N64 and GameCube games, which GameCube's not even been available on Virtual Console before, so that would actually be a feature I think a lot of people would be excited about because there's a lot of GameCube games that just never come back. I guess the thought process I want to throw out to you guys is, I think we know kind of how we want Nintendo to handle this stuff, but what do we think they're actually going to do? Because now they're saying, we're thinking about maybe doing more than NES, and we might have other methods of giving you stuff. Like, are we just getting another? Is this like, hey, look, we're going to do an N64 Classic. We were just giving the classics a break for a bit. Let Sony and Sega screw things up, and then we'll come back and do it right. Well, actually, Sega apparently hasn't screwed it up, but whatever. Let them have their day in this one, and then Nintendo. Oh, by the way, guys, we'll show you how to do it right again.
Yeah, right.
I mean, what are you guys thought? Like, what? How do we think Nintendo's actually going to handle more than NES moving forward?
So, really what I want to see is some of those older systems like Game Boy and stuff come back in the classic form, where I think their unique form factor and the way they're kind of laid out with 2 buttons is kind of iconic to how you remember and want to play those.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think playing, a Game Boy game on Switch looks too good. I haven't got a chance to actually play Castlevania yet on Switch to see how it compares. But I really want to see them too kind of update something like the Game Boy, that you could come in with modern technology and put like rechargeable batteries, and you could even leave the cartridge slot in there and just maybe store all of it on like some sort of flash memory or something.
Sure.
And even come in with like a backlight or something too.
Mm-hmm.
Even throwing in GBA games. Like, I think there's a market for people who want to pay a little bit more money for like the classic systems to get more out of them.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Sure.
That's a fantastic idea.
Well, I've been looking at buying modded Game Boys with backlights. I really want to get a GBA.
Yeah. Gosh. How are they going to handle this? Oh, God. They're gonna just keep doing what they're doing. I mean...
Which is nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't surprise me if they know that they're talking about this. The SNES stuff is broke.
Well...
has leaked, broke, whatever you want to call it. So it wouldn't surprise me if they start adding SNES games. And then all of a sudden, they're talking about the classic systems again. No, it wouldn't surprise me they come back out and re-release the NES and Super Nintendo.
Sure.
It's like, guys, we want something a little bit different. We want another one. Give us another one, a different one. Not the same old. But I have a feeling that there's still a demand for the same old, so that's what Nintendo's going to give you.
Here's the thing. I think the NES and SNES Classic are obviously coming back because they sold out. Even when they stopped producing them.
I still see them lying around now.
Yeah, in my area, they don't even have them anymore. They're not even listed in the computers anymore. They're sold out. Maybe you can still find them online, but...
I see them in the store still, but,
Yeah, but, I think they're going to... one more holiday, those are gone.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to get past another holiday season. So I think what's next... an N64 Classic just makes a lot of sense. $100 like the PlayStation was, and actually have a decent library that people are willing to pay for with good emulation. I'd love to see 2 controllers packed in, even though the N64 controllers are ridiculously huge. They'd be like the size of the entire classic system,
right,
but whatever.
Right. I'm sure they can cut them down in size.
That's the whole point, though. All the controllers have been the same size.
Yeah.
It's about recreating what that feel and experience is like.
Sans the giganticness of the actual console itself.
Well, yeah,
but yeah,
because that's the mini part.
Yeah, the classic, the
so
mini. Yes.
I think here's the thing: they're going to add SNES to the online service, but I almost think like at this point, if they announce like SNES games tomorrow, people might be like, "Is that like an exciting announcement?"
No.
We'd be almost a year into the online service existing, and now every year we're going to get a new system. So then like. Well, finally, by the time we're talking about the Switch 2, we get N64 games.
Hooray!
Yeah, you can play Mario World either through your SNES Classic games online or play it through Mario Maker.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to play, folks?
Here's the thing. I personally don't really care about the classic library of games in terms of their availability on this stuff. And it's weird because I grew up with all these games, so you figure I'd like to just play them all in one system. But maybe Nintendo's just yanked me around so much over the years, having to rebuy them every new generation, this and that, that I just gave up on ever caring about them. And besides, like the one that I really care about, Secret of Mana, is going to be available in the Mana collection anyways, that I could just buy for Switch. So I don't really like. And other companies have already like gone that route where they've released some of their SNES games and other classics already on Switch without Nintendo's support. And so I just think that Nintendo's kind of in this space where everyone and this is another thing we have to take into consideration that maybe is causing issue for Nintendo, because a lot of these older systems, right, there's tons of amazing Nintendo games, but they also were carried a lot by really amazing third-party games. And a lot of these third-party companies might be looking at finally realizing there's value in those games. And look, things like the Mana Collection. Well, we'll make more money doing that than letting you just throw these games up on a SNES or whatever. Or things like online game streaming services and subscription models to potentially gain access to these classic library of games. We see EA doing that. Square Enix is in kind of talks to do it, and it's getting to this point where I think there's value in this. People are willing to pay for it. Why are we going through Nintendo to have that stuff done. Let's just do it ourselves and make more money. And I think that might be throwing a wrench in some of Nintendo's plans where it's like, yeah, we have our own thing, but we're going to be missing so many of the greats. And I think the only way for Nintendo to combat that and change that opinion would just to be do it just straight up scrap the NES Online app and just make it Nintendo Game Pass. Yeah. And just have all the Nintendo games on there, period. Mm-hmm. Just be done with it.
Yeah.
All the IPs you own Nintendo, just make them available to play. You want to add online updates to them later, fine. Mm-hmm. Granted, obviously, this also comes with the fact that I would love for Game Pass to be exactly like Xbox Game Pass, where you also get all of the brand new Nintendo games for one price per year. That would be sweet. There's no way in hell they'll ever do that. Their games make way too much money individually to do that.
Yeah.
Xbox doesn't release as many exclusives as Nintendo does.
Well,
so.
They might be heading that direction. Jesus, with how many game studios are buying?
They buy quite a few. Here's the thing. I don't like any of the current solutions that are like looks like Nintendo's probably going to do. Like, yeah, obviously N64 Classic would be sweet, great. But so would a Game Boy Classic. Like, there's so many like things they should be doing that they're not.
Game Boy Classic's about EA big and.
I mean, at this point, here's the thing: a Game Boy Classic would probably be the size of a Game Boy Light, but it would just look like an OG Game Boy.
Yeah,
or the Game Boy Pocket.
Game Boy Color.
Game Boy Pocket.
Yeah.
So the Game Boy Pocket.
Game Boy Pocket would be awesome.
Yeah. So and that's the thing. Like, do they do? Because I don't think they're gonna have two generations of it. They're either gonna do a Game Boy Mini Classic, whatever, or they're gonna do a Game Boy Color, or it's going to be a fat Game Boy that also happens to play the color games.
Or just an Advance with everything on it, please.
There is that. Yeah.
Yeah, it won't happen.
Yeah, probably not.
But never would be awesome.
You want that? Go buy a Game Boy Advance and then plug all your Game Boy games in. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say it's impossible, but I don't know. I don't care enough about the classic library and what Nintendo's doing with it anymore because they've been screwing us around for too long. But they're still screwing us around. They're acting like only just now are they even debating on putting more of the NES games out, which is probably not true, but it also feels like you're dragging your feet with it, and people know you're dragging your feet with it. People aren't really even talking much about the NES games when they come out every month. Yeah. Like, I got excited for Double Dragon for a moment, but then like I realized, oh great, you gave me one game I care about in the last 4 updates. Like,
right.
Let's just be real. I'm paying for this online service so I can play games online. It's pretty much it.
Something that I was doing for free earlier.
All right, next topic. Greg Miller, shit.
Yes.
For those who don't know, Greg Miller is former employee at IGN, worked his way up there from being a games guide volunteer editor to becoming, a kind of a bigwig writer, and then actually was like one of the founders of Podcast Beyond, which is one of the most popular, if not the most popular, PlayStation podcast of all time. Him and a bunch of his buddies from IGN spun off of IGN at some point like 2 or 3 years ago and created Kinda Funny Games. And so he's just been wildly successful at that, along with all of his colleagues. And that's great. That's kind of all the background you need for this story. So Greg Miller, which is one of the key faces of Kinda Funny Games, this year at E3 had a big role in a lot of companies. He was one of the hosts at EA Play. I know some people don't like the way he hosts things. He doesn't really care. That's his personality. That's what they paid for. That's what he got paid to do, was be him. So he was him. And you either like it or you don't. If you're a Kinda Funny fan, you probably thought it was amazing. If you weren't, you probably thought that it was weird. Because that's just the way Greg Miller is. He, a couple years ago, won at the Game Awards the influencer or something of the year. And the speech he gave was just amazing. He's very down to earth when things get serious, and about caring about the industry and the developers and all that. Because a lot of people are starting to think he's kind of a corporate shill. Because again, he was hosting EA, he was on GameSpot's stuff all the time, the C3. But hey, I'm not gonna knock a guy for getting paid. Go get paid, man.
Right.
So what happened is he got an email from the ESA, who runs E3, saying that he is banned from E3 2020 for apparently swapping badges, which is against the rules. You tell you that right up, you can't hand your badge to anyone else. That's like one of the number one rules. They even tell you that when you pick up the badge, don't give it to people. Apparently it's an issue. I'm sure it happens with Gamer Passes more than media ones, but Yeah, because like gamer passes are $250, so you might buy one, try to share it with your buddies. No, don't do it. You're gonna get banned and never allowed to come back. If it's a gamer pass, you're definitely gonna get banned and never allowed to come back. Media, he was only banned for a year, so
Yeah.
they like media way more than they like games.
Yes, they do.
But
as can be seen by our standing out in the parking,
yeah,
not being able to stand in
so
the shade.
it turned out to be a big mistake. Greg Miller had his pass the whole time. He claims he threw it out at the hotel when he got back because he doesn't keep his passes anymore. And he was literally doing the closing show at GameSpot as the show floor was closing, and he couldn't be there without his pass. He literally wouldn't be able to be in the building, meaning that it was impossible for him to swap badges with someone or anyone to grab his badge out of the trash to get into E3 and be caught by security because E3 was closed. So literally, the situation that he was banned for was impossible. Now, it is possible that a fan took a video or photo of him that had the badge, photoshopped it, took the badge, printed it off, and then tried to get in as Greg Miller, because maybe they also happened to be a Greg something or a Miller something or a Gregory Miller or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were trying to pass it off as, oh, I'm medium getting in, and they're like, no.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't, like, they're very strict. Like, it has to, like, I can't even put Nate Jantz on my thing. They won't let me in.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be exactly what it says on your driver's license. So if this guy had a pass to Gregory Miller and the thing says Greg Miller, guess what? You're not the same. You don't get in. Anyways, I mean, that's the presumption of what happened, or it was just a big, kerfuffle, and ESA just messed up, and no one actually did anything wrong but them. Possible. But what's interesting is this led to a greater debate at Kinda Funny about E3, not about it dwindling, more so about the ESA and how it's handling, even just like, forget gamers, how it's handling media at the event. So Greg Miller brought up something that I don't know that anyone knew about until this moment, because it's not something that you would think your audience is going to care too much about, because it comes across as entitlement sometimes when you talk about, oh, we should just get as many badges as we want to get an E3. Right, like, that can kind of sound like, oh, why are you entitled to things? Well, here's the thing. Kinda Funny had several people in their group actually hosting things at E3 for big corporations, GameSpot, just as an example, and all that. EA, like they are literally there repping those companies, but they were only initially allowed 2 badges to represent their entire company. And they had more than 2 people that were supposed to host things.
Don't worry. They could get more badges at a grand a pop.
Oh, yeah. That was what it was about. Yeah, a grand a pop, which is the VIP passes. Anyone can get those. And I don't, it's not like I feel, man, you feel bad for Kinda Funny. I don't really feel bad for them. They're fine. They're doing great. They're fantastic. But it brings up the situation about one of the reasons I think they only can get to is because Kinda Funny is basically a YouTube entity. They're fully funded by Patreon, but all of their content's located on YouTube. They have 200,000 plus subscribers, and technically, by the rules of the ESA, Kinda Funny doesn't qualify as media because they don't get 50,000 views per video. So technically, I think that's what it was going on. It's, you guys, because you have a rapport, you get in. But you're only getting 2. Which is funny, because if they got the viewership they got, but on a traditional website, they could have like 20 people in. Mm-hmm. So the ESA does not treat YouTubers very well. I can speak to that as a YouTuber myself. They do not treat us. They treat us like trash.
Also,
like we don't belong there.
They made the comments of smaller podcasts and other things that had gotten in the past, were all of a sudden turned down this year with no reason really given.
Yep. I mean, we applied as a podcast. First time we ever applied as one. No reason given, just denied. Even though I know for a fact there is a certain podcast that got in. I'm not gonna call them out because it's not their fault. They got in, and they're smaller than my podcast. Less viewership, less subscribers, less everything. And they got in, and we didn't. So ESA isn't communicating well. They used to communicate very well, by the way. Like back when you applied in 2016, that's just a few years ago. They were very good about informing you on why you were accepted or why you were rejected. That's how people found out that, hey, you need 10,000 hits, a month on a website to get in. Who knows? Maybe it's different now because people were getting shut down, so maybe that's not good enough anymore. And the thing is, I will say, when I was at E3 this year, they said, Kinda Funny said something that I actually agree with. This was my third E3. This felt like the most empty I'm not just talking in terms of like Sony's not there, so of course there's like people.
Right.
There wasn't as many people.
Oh no, definitely.
Like in last year and 2016, like it was hard to move. There were so many people.
And I know
this year
we made that comment. We made that comment even standing in line. It's like we can actually move. What's going on here?
Yeah, the lines are moving, and don't get me wrong, that's great for people who are there. It's easier to do things, but I think what happened and what it sounds like from Greg Miller's side is that ESA is just shutting down all these media outlets and telling them, you want to be here, pay. And they're like, well, we're not paying. Your show doesn't mean enough for us to spend $1,000 a pop to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, like, if you're a small YouTuber like me, you're not dropping $1,000 to get in, and you need a team.
Yeah.
So you need at least a cameraman too. So that's another $1,000. Mm-hmm. Like you're not, what small team's dropping $2,000 to get in? That's crazy.
Someone who's got stupid money.
Well, someone who doesn't even care. It's just straight up a hobby. They're not doing it for making money or anything. So, I mean, here's the thing. Andrew243 is on the outside looking in, right? He's just someone who would go as a gamer anyways. Is this something that matters to you in terms of someone who's not in the industry and just looks at E3 as I'm just there to get game announcements and move on with my day?
Yeah, I'm pretty much ready for all the companies to just do directs at this point, and maybe do like some hands-on stuff.
Well, the big thing,
I just like directs.
Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, who doesn't like directs? Come on now.
Or the anti-directs if you're.
Or the anti-directs. Well, here's the thing. I think what ends up happening is the general public, like you, or honestly most of our viewer base, they watch the press conferences or watch the digital events or the directs, and that's it. And then maybe they'll watch some of the Treehouse stuff because, again, that's like a live stream from Nintendo. But Nintendo doesn't have to be at E3 to do something like that, right? They could do that from their home base if they really wanted to. So I don't know that the general viewer at home needs like the actual show floor stuff to exist, unless you just want to attend. But I do think there's still... I mean, this is just me speaking as someone who's in the industry. Is I think there's value to the show. I personally, I think the show is more important than the actual conferences because all the conferences are amazing. And I know as a gamer, like, oh, it's exciting. Like that Breath of the Wild 2 announcement, man. You guys saw my reaction to that. I went nuts. Like, that's amazing. But there's nothing that compares to actually playing the games. As big as the announcements might be, what does it matter if you don't play them?
I mean, the problem is, too, is half the stuff is, like, in alpha by the time it comes out, or it's going into alpha in, like, 2 weeks.
Oh,
so seeing it,
don't remind me of the unfinished games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Release it basically in what is the early access state on Steam.
Yeah.
Is what it feels like. Oh, AAA game. Oh, don't worry, we'll fix it later. It's like,
yeah, right. No.
It shouldn't have released in this state. Delay the game.
Yeah.
What happened to delaying games isn't the end of the world. Oh, well, we got to hit our profit margins this quarter. Okay, but if you release it in this state and you piss off customers, you're not going to hit the profit margins the next time around this game comes out because less people are going to buy it. So how about you just do it right?
Or poor word of mouth is going to get out there and less people are going to buy it going forward.
That's the presumption. It hasn't actually happened yet, though.
No.
People keep buying the stuff.
Stop.
Well, you got to remember, a lot of consumers are starting to get used to mobile games, and still compared to that, this feels a lot better.
It's also very true.
Like, we live in a world where everyone has access to the internet, or most people, especially if you're buying video games. So there's like, oh, yeah, but if I buy it, I know it'll eventually be good, so who cares? I still get my money's worth because it's eventually good. Mm-hmm. I mean, we did that with Nintendo. This isn't so much like a buggy game, but when Splatoon came out on Wii U, that was not worth $60 at launch. Not even close. Not even close.
Aces still isn't worth $60.
But yet Aces sold, 5+ million. Yeah. Super Mario Party, I can argue, doesn't have enough content for $60. Doesn't matter. Sold 6.4 million. One of the best-selling Mario Party games of all time. I mean, people are buying it. So if people are buying it, why would they change?
Yeah,
it isn't going to change if people stop buying it. So as much as we might whine on the internet or make a ruckus about all this stuff, or even like this at E3, like complain about the ESA and how they're kind of killing the media aspect of E3, which could actually help increase the clout of E3. The more media that is there, the more coverage you get, the bigger the event seems to everyone else. Because, like for me, we have some hands-on impressions videos, like my Luigi's Mansion 3 hands-on impression video Like, that thing's one of my top viewed videos from E3. I got like 6,000 views on that. It doesn't sound like a lot to some of you guys, but for a channel my size, that's a decent amount of views. And that video doesn't exist without there actually being an event for me to play it at.
Right.
So I paid money for the privilege to even get a chance to do it.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
And I went with the Gamer Pass. So I think that just something has to change. I don't think E3 has to go away. I think just as an outsider, I like having. There's that one time a year that you pay attention to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of neat.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why it's been called Gamer Christmas for so long. Is, hey, look, Ubisoft, like this year, Microsoft, Ubisoft, Square, Bethesda, Nintendo, and a bunch of companies were announcing things all in the same time period, and that's just really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because that doesn't happen. Like, when everyone does their own events, it's like, oh, what are we excited for? Like, oh, these random events, these state of plays, these directs, when we don't know when they're coming. They don't give you a lot of notice. Whereas this is like, no, we know every year. Like, we know when E3 is happening next year. So we have, all this build up to it, which is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that there are some things like live press conferences. I think those are kind of going by the wayside. And I think it's just because it's more efficient and cheaper and better delivered if they do it like Nintendo does. And this is why other companies are starting to do it as well, because it's just cheaper and it's smarter and you are in a controlled environment better. So, yeah, you could always question if what you're seeing is real, but you should be questioning that anyways.
Yeah.
Because trust me, a lot of those staged demos, they're staged demos.
Staged. Yes.
So... but I mean, as for the show floor itself, I mean, ESA I think just needs to. Here's the problem, okay? The general problem with the ESA, it is made up of people from like Microsoft, made up of people from EA and Ubisoft and Nintendo. So the ESA is comprised of all of the big dog companies in the industry. All the big dog companies in the industry also have massively been devaluing things like YouTubers, things, more unconventional ways that news is getting out there that are quickly becoming the norm compared to the way news was delivered before. So, like, there's all this love and affection for traditional media, but no love for new media, which has almost become the standard for media at this point. So I think what has to happen is those companies need to slowly come around to the fact that, dude, like, when you see, I don't know, let me just throw an example out there. You see Spawn Wave Media out there, and he's got 200,000 plus things. He can push a video up to over 100,000. You should be almost reaching out to him and saying, hey, we will. I know you don't want to corporate shill it, but, hey, offer him some perks to actually come to E3 and cover your games, because it's massive exposure for your game. It's like they're not realizing what they have here. There are some companies that do. Epic, as an example, they'll bring out, what's his name, Ninja and all that stuff to kind of like, because they realize that's a big deal. They realize how big streaming is, because that's what made Fortnite so huge. But for a lot of these companies, they don't view these content creators as a driving force in the industry, and it kind of sucks because they are. I mean,
EA actually even recognized a couple of content creators.
Put it this way: anytime PewDiePie plays a game, that game becomes a bestseller. Yeah. I get it; he's the most popular guy in the world for anything when it comes to content creation. But still, it's put that in your mind, guys. Look at the influence that even me, like I'm a dinky nobody channel, but my impressions on things sell dozens of copies of games. That's hundreds of dollars of extra revenue in your pocket if you just treat us with respect and allow us to play your stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not like e-bagging. I don't want like review copies. Like, cool. So if we get review copies, great. But I think the fact that I can get like 1/18 of the viewership I have now as a YouTuber on a traditional website, and I can get a media pass then. But getting all the traffic I get now as a YouTuber, I can't get a media pass? That's backwards. It should be almost harder for traditional media to get passes because they're not quite as relevant. I can tell you right now, all the years I worked at Zelda Informer, I don't think a single thing I did there sold more Zelda games. But I could always get a media pass. Not a single thing I did there. It's a Zelda site. Of course, the people that are buying Zelda games, nothing I say is going to make them buy a Zelda game. They're already buying the dang Zelda. That's why they're there. That's why they're here.
Pretty much.
So
they either have it or they're going to buy
there's
it.
no advantage to them for me to be there other than, hey, cool, I get to create a whole bunch of unique content, but that just drives traffic for me. It doesn't make you guys more money. You're going to make the money anyways. Whereas someone like me, I'm a general Nintendo YouTuber, not just specific. Not everyone on my channel is buying Mario Maker. Not everyone's buying Luigi's Mansion. Not everyone's buying all these games. So, having people go hands-on with them is important.
But them seeing you play it, or me playing it, or anybody playing it, might actually turn around and make them want to buy the game.
Yeah.
Seeing it, just seeing the trailers for it and stuff doesn't necessarily...
It doesn't convey the feel of the game.
Full feel of the game. But watching somebody play it, see how it runs, see how it... you can kind of get a general idea of how things feel by watching somebody play it.
Yeah, I totally bought Let's Go out of I think it was a bunch of people playing it and talking about it, Spawn Wave, you guys, and that's how I ended up getting Let's Go. I didn't even really want the game that much.
And do you regret the purchase?
Totally. Well, I got it with Gamers Club Unlocked, so my wallet didn't take too much of a hit.
There you go. But yeah, it's one of those situations where I just think there's a disconnect, and kind of funny's realizing it now. And I think they knew it back then when they first split off from IGN. Greg Miller mentioned we didn't know what was going to happen because now we don't have this big corporation behind us getting us into all these events.
Right. Well, and they also made the comment of they had a couple of connections up at the ESA.
ESA. So one of them don't work there anymore.
One of them didn't, but they had a couple of connections, and that they kind of went, into that connection. The connection's like, yeah, we got you, we got you. Then this year they emailed that a connection that they had, and before the connection, basically right as soon as the email went out, and before the connection could even respond, the ESA came back and went, no, you get 2, and you can purchase the other ones. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's really, guys? They're a relatively large YouTube channel and still growing.
And they have a lot of influence in people buying games.
Yes, and they're actually hosting through a lot of your vendors that are in your building or in your show.
Well, they're responsible then apply through the vendor, but they don't actually work for the vendors.
Right.
They can't apply as a media for GameSpot because they don't have anything on the GameSpot website as a credential to apply as a member of GameSpot.
Right.
So they have to get in as kind of funny so they can then host.
Right.
And they're not a celebrity like Keanu Reeves who just gets in for being Keanu Reeves.
Right.
You're going to deny Keanu Reeves? I'm sure if he had to pay, Cyberpunk took care of it. So
yeah, I'm sure. But
yeah, Microsoft's had to buy Keanu Reeves a day pass.
Yeah, right. Did he get a gamer pass?
Oh my god. Would that be terrible if Keanu Reeves had a gamer pass?
Yeah.
No, that's why we weren't allowed up there in the tent day one. Keanu Reeves was waiting to get in.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, right.
And then they didn't want him to get mobbed, so security brought him in just inside the door.
Yeah. That's what it was. Yep. They were passing it off as they didn't know what was going on.
Can you imagine like if you were a celebrity and you're just like, you know how bad it is? I applied for media, didn't get one. Well, fine, I'm not media. I'm a celebrity. It's like Dr. Disrespect, but I didn't get a pass for some reason because I don't have a YouTube channel. I'm an actor.
Yeah.
So I bought a gamer's pass and I stood in line with the gamers.
That'd be crazy.
It'd be crazy. It'd be like, this is how crazy it is. I'm rich and famous. I would make your event look good, and I'm out here outside in the sun.
Actually, when we were talking to the guys in the Borderlands 3 line, apparently Jack Black was there.
Yeah.
Just as a attendee with his I don't know if it was his son.
Yeah, they probably bought VIP passes.
Right, but yeah, still, that's freaking awesome. Just
is his son even 17?
I don't know but you know how this works. Even the one rep that we were talking to at the Nintendo booth said that I think it was that when you were playing the Peach Ball. I was talking to the lady there and she said that before the show opens and stuff like that, like the industry people will have their kids there and stuff like that. And
oh well, that's a little different. That's not official show hours.
Right. But still, the ESA with nobody under 17 is allowed in here.
During show hours is what it says on the site. So
yeah, but it's all you're gonna tell. Like Reggie, you can't bring your kid here.
Well, yeah, now he doesn't work for anyone.
Well, I mean, but you know what I'm saying.
Even then, can you imagine Reggie standing outside and being like, "Wait, I don't get a media pass." You just like, "My people,
my people,
carry me into the building."
Right.
I know all the back entrances. Let me show you.
Right.
All right, last topic, quick. So there was a lot of things that happened in the financial meeting. You know, Switch Mini stuff we're not really going to touch on. I already did a video on that. But there was a report earlier this year. We talked about it on this very podcast that Nintendo's quality of life devices were done. This is reported by Nikkei. So again, never substantiated by Nintendo, but we hadn't heard about their quality of life. They're working on some sleep device. Then it was assumed that, when Pokemon Sleep was announced, I guess that's where that tech went. So Nintendo's not doing medical devices anymore, but they partnered with the Pokemon Company, gave them their tech and Pokemon Sleep. That was always the assumption. Well, apparently, no, Nintendo has literally nothing to do with Pokemon Sleep, which is weird since you would figure Nintendo would actually want to help a device like that be the best it could be. But whatever, has nothing to do with it. And apparently Nintendo's still working on quality of life devices. They just don't have anything ready, which is scary because it's been like 6 or 7 years, and they still don't have. I mean, it's sounding like the Wii Vitality sensor at this point.
You know what it is? It's the one annoying guy at the office that they have just stuck in a room somewhere working on a quality of life product. One guy.
Hey, if he's making bank, who really cares?
Right.
So here's what Shinjiro Furukawa had to say about the whole thing with the quality of life stuff when he was asked about it. He says, although it's a very long time ago, as a challenge towards a new business, we announced that we were developing products to improve quality of life. Even right now, the development is indeed still continuing. Still, we have not made a product that we can proudly announce as a Nintendo product. Pokemon Sleep is owned by the Pokemon Company, so it is unrelated to the development in Nintendo's quality of life business. So basically, they haven't made anything they're proud enough to show to the public. Now, we know they were working on something sleep-related because they brought that up themselves a few years back, that they were working on improving sleep patterns and all. And here's the thing. I think what happened is, while Nintendo was doing that, a bunch of other companies figured it out. Now there's all these sleep devices out there that help monitor your snoring and try to get you in a better sleeping position in the bed so you get a better night's rest. There's those lights out there that with the alarms that'll kind of like slowly do like a sunrise thing because apparently if you wake up to a slow rise of light instead of like waking up with the lights just shining through your window, you actually wake up without a headache and you wake up better. Yeah. Apparently it's been scientifically proven that's the case. I don't know. Obviously, everyone's different. I've never actually woken up that way. I've always woken up to my kids are jumping on me or there's a super bright light coming through the window and now I'm awake. Yeah, right. And let me tell you, I hate waking up, so probably I should try like the sunrise light and just kind of get up before the light's smacking me in the face from my window, which I have drapes up. It doesn't matter. When you have kids, you might as well not have anything. So my I guess just I don't know that we have a lot to say about this because there's no device that exists. But do you think that Nintendo is relying on this quality of life business the way that like Satoru Iwata wanted them to, where this was supposed to be a major pillar for them where they were going to get government funding and like be in hospitals and stuff like that. Like, this was supposed to be like a huge deal, and it was supposed to somehow meld gaming into it eventually to sort of make whatever medical thing they're working on more interactive. Kind of like, I think what inspired him was probably all the stuff that happened with the Wiimote with medical stuff. But do you think that like we're ever going to get anything out of this and it's going to be a big deal? I mean, for us as gamers, I don't think it'll ever be a big deal. But I mean, for the world of medicine or group homes or something, do you think is there anything Nintendo can do that's going to matter in this space?
I mean, the problem is it's like quality of life and gaming are kind of the opposites of each other.
Well, not necessarily though, because the Wii actually helped people's quality of life without even being a quality of life device.
It's debatable how much like Wii Fit or something actually helps someone.
It's not even Wii Fit. Literally, the launch game Wii Sports, it increased people in retirement homes and all this stuff. It actually increased their physical activity, and which made them actually live longer and be healthier. So video games have been proven to actually, and this is beyond talking about mental health crap, where video games obviously help with that sometimes. Right. So yeah, video games can be a detriment. Like all you do is sit on your couch and never move. Like, yeah, but that's not what Wii was. Wii wasn't that kind of device.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see it where you go to work out, and then you come home and somehow working out, I guess, increases some score or whatever. But the problem is how do you really meld the stuff together at the point of where tech is, where you can actually really monitor a lot of stuff? Because right now, food stuff is calorie counting and stuff, and you can't really automate a lot of stuff like working out. I mean, as good as motion trackers are, are you gonna really go to the gym wearing 2 ankle bracelets, 2 wrist bracelets, and like a neck bracelet to track all your movement? And even still, stuff like calories is still estimated.
What if it's not like a bracelet? What if they do, because the technology technically exists, it's just not available to the public. There are like shorts and compression shirts that literally have tech in it that the NFL should be using more of, but they don't use it enough. But like rugby and all these other sports are actually using to track all this stuff already. Like the tech already exists, it's already being used, and it's not in like it's in a form where you don't even know you're wearing it.
Mm-hmm.
So like that tech
exists. Bringing something like that to market though. Because like that's for more high-end sports where you're trying to be the top 1% of the top 1%, and that's important.
Yeah, but they're using it a lot. No, go on. Sorry.
If you're just trying to get your workout in and count some calories, do you really want something that's going to be
I don't know,
around like that? Especially with cost, I'm sure those shirts wouldn't be cheap.
Oh, for sure.
Well, yeah, the way it is right now, it's not cheap, and a lot of it's used for monitoring fatigue. And there's a lot of questions like why the NBA and NFL don't implement it more when the tech exists to like actually monitor fatigue, because it could help you prevent injury by knowing, okay, this player's exerted, way more energy and their body's not responding. You got to get them out of the game so they can rest. That's really what it's being used for in some of these other sports. And I mean, I actually think it's being used in some of the soccer leagues out there as well. And it's helped reduce injuries in that game. So the thing is, like that's obviously a more conversation sports related, but I do think there's a use for that technology that could be for the everyday person that maybe Nintendo here's the thing, does it need to be affordable with the way medical works anyways? It just needs to be something that insurance companies will cover as a medical device.
Right. I don't know, you put a leaderboard up and I think you're good. I mean,
who sweat the most today?
Yeah, right.
All right.
Yeah.
Tracking your perspiration.
Yeah. But those wearables, I think, are going to be huge.
Well, here's the thing. There's already like Fitbits and stuff. Like those are massively popular.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who cares about fitness always has one of those things on them.
Mm-hmm. I can start seeing them actually start creating like actual games and stuff created more towards like fitness and everything else like that. I mean, they have their boxing games, they have their other stuff.
I have a thought on this, and this actually takes me back to my childhood, to something that actually was really good for you as a kid to play a game. Track and field.
Mm-hmm. With
the running pad. Well, we saw it kind of come back with Dance Dance Revolution and stuff as well.
Right.
But what if they could find a way to, and maybe this is where they need to partner with Google or something for like Google Glass. So they can find a way like you're on a treadmill, but they can kind of make it a little bit of a game.
Mm-hmm.
How fast you are moving for different things to help avoid obstacles or whatever, to maybe increase the pace over your normal walking or whatever it is. And have you not realize, like, instead of tracking how many miles you've gone, how far you get in the level, and then all of a sudden at the end, be like, oh, hey, by the way, you just ran 4 miles and you were only planning to run 1. Look at that. Mm-hmm. You didn't think you could do it, but we made the workout fun.
Mm-hmm.
So now, just to play devil's advocate, what happens when someone hurts himself going for the high score? Like, I can see that just
what happens when people hurt
break on bringing those to market.
What happens when people hurt themselves on treadmills?
True.
I mean, it's not any different than
still,
any other.
Just, the Wiimotes going through the TV was enough to get Nintendo to force the straps everywhere just to make it look like it never
they always had the straps.
Yeah.
They just emphasize that, hey, you should use the strap.
I think there's going to be, if that's the case, pretty sure there's going to be probably monitors for like your heart, your stuff like that on the treadmill to make sure that, if your body does go into a certain condition, it's just going to kill the game for you. You're done.
You'll get the Zelda owl coming down every 15 minutes to tell you've been working out too long.
Right.
Take a break.
Yeah. You've been playing this for too long. Please take a break. No, or hey, your body's showing signs of fatigue. Stop, type of thing. Because you can monitor all that stuff and say, hey, basically just kill it on them and force them to stop,
or like force them to stop till the heart rate's under a certain
right
level as well. Because like there are some treadmills, not most of the ones you see, but there are some more advanced treadmills when you're monitoring your heart rate, holding onto the bars. That if your heart rate gets to like a 200 something, they'll be like, oh, whoa. Like they'll treadmill automatically slow down to a walk because like, dude, no, your heart's too fast, it's gonna explode. You need to stop. But like you can't just straight stop because that's not good for you to straight stop. You need to just slow your pace down, get your heart slowly to go down. And so like obviously, devil's advocate, you could devil's advocate anything.
Oh yeah.
And we're talking about health. So of course you can devil advocate all of it, but that's the
there's
thing.
Always
there's
a risk
also
of injury
so
for
much
anything too.
Literally me going for a jog outside tomorrow, I could hurt myself. Like am I gonna sue the street and sue the city because strained my? Some people would. I wouldn't. I'd be like, yeah, I got hurt jogging. I mean, of course I got hurt jogging. I tripped on a rock. Oh well. Like what? Like I mean, that's life. Like I don't view that as I need to sue someone about that. Like okay, cool. Like. It's whatever. I'll deal with it. Even paying deductibles and like it's whatever. Who cares? Like I hurt myself. I don't blame anyone else for that pain. And that's something like we get in a fight with our neighbor a lot about liability on all this stuff. Like if our kids ever touch a blade of grass in his yard, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not suing you if my kids trip and fall in your yard. It's okay.
Unless you purposely put something.
I'm
there.
like now if you shove my kid down, then yeah, that's different. You're getting physical.
Yeah. Or you purposely put something in your lawn to trip my kid.
Yeah, but like as an example, if my kid falls over your sprinkler head, heck, I'll even pay to replace your sprinkler head.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to blame you for my kid getting hurt. Anyways, people are sticklers over that. I understand why, because there are people that would almost encourage their kids to go in the yard to get hurt. And encourage people to get hurt using Nintendo quality of life devices so they can sue Nintendo. Like, it happens. That's just the way the world is. But the bottom line is, can the money made and the good done from it outweigh all of that? And generally, the answer is yeah.
No.
I mean, it's been yeah so far. I mean, there were people getting hurt with Wii. You brought up example, throwing Wiimotes at TVs. Like, yeah, that sucks for the TV, but what about the people that threw Wiimotes to hit other people?
Yeah.
But, like, still Wii was massively popular and then stopped selling it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that if Nintendo could find a way to make working out fun, I think that would be key because a lot of people have tried to make working out fun. And right now the resort is, you can watch TV while you work out. Like, that doesn't make the workout any fun. It's just trying to distract your mind from realizing you're working out. But you realize you're working out.
I think that it's great, to do quality of life. The problem is, too, there's so much forms of working out, too, where, how do you make someone doing an hour of yoga versus someone doing an hour of weights have competitive scores? Like, there's a lot of R&D and engineering that really got to go into something like this.
But that's for a $1 billion company to worry about, not
right?
Yeah.
I mean, the bottom line is, I always thought it was weird when Nintendo said, when Satoru Iwata said, hey, look, we're starting a third pillar at Nintendo. We're going into quality of life, medical devices. And I'm like, look, there's a lot of money to be made in that field. A lot of it, especially you get government grants. You end up getting into hospitals. You can make a crap load of money. I can understand why anyone would want to break into it. But I kept thinking, but Nintendo, you know nothing about this field. And it's highly competitive. Like, way more competitive than video game. Like what is there? Two other, I guess, counting PC and phones, I guess a grand total, 4 or 5 platforms? Yeah. And Nintendo's one of them. Yeah, okay. How many people are making medical devices?
Yeah.
Like hundreds of different companies.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I was thinking maybe a CPR machine that you have to put Konami code in.
Konami code for the ambulance.
Yeah, the Nintendo ambulance.
The Wambulance.
The Wambulance. The Wii U. Oh, wait.
So I think it's good that Nintendo is looking into this stuff. I just don't know. I mean, as good as I say it is, as Shintaro Furukawa says, it has to feel like a Nintendo product. And Nintendo has a reputation of high quality products, works out of the box, is entertaining. And I don't know, like, at least before we knew they were looking at sleep devices. But I think one thing about sleep devices is you can't make sleeping fun. Like, the only thing you can do with sleep is improve the quality of your sleep, improve how quickly you fall asleep, and then improve how you wake up. But you can't, like, make people dream happy dreams or something. Like, you're going to go in there and mess with people's brainwaves while they're... Good luck selling that. If that's what Nintendo, if you are trying to put a brainwave control device on people while they sleep, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Right.
I can already see the very first lawsuit ever is going to be mind control.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when it's a high score
Nintendo
attack game for sleeping.
Every 30 seconds of your dream, Nintendo ad.
Yeah, right. Oh god.
Man, why do I really want to buy a Switch this morning? I already have one. I gotta get it though.
Right.
3 days of that. Oh man,
You gotta buy them all.
I bought
Wait.
another Switch. Man, why did I just buy? Why did I just spend all my rent money on a whole bunch of new video games? Damn you, Nintendo! Every time, why am I always dreaming Nintendo? I don't get it. Well, take the Nintendo device off your head when you sleep. But
Right.
but I feel so good.
Right. I could see Nintendo actually getting to like prosthetics
Sure.
and designing prosthetics. You know, you want your
Powered
arm.
by Wiimotes.
You want right. You want your arm to look like X character, or
I want the Cyberpunk
what?
arm, but I want a Wiimote to shoot out of it.
So
instead of
Nintendo's gonna become the company that creates Cyberpunk.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're gonna start cyborging people.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You got a prosthetic arm. Well, don't worry. That'll control some sort of video game console in the future.
I'm honestly just surprised they're not actually helping with Pokemon Sleep. Granted, Pokemon Sleep looks absolutely dumb and ridiculous to me. It looks like the stupidest thing
Honestly,
I've ever seen made. But
honestly, it could be the fact that that could have been Nintendo stuff that they just literally gave to Game Freak because they heard the feedback on it and were like, yeah, no, you guys can have this. You guys roll this out.
Game Freak found it while dumpster diving.
Yeah, right.
oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Pulled it out.
Pulled it up like, oh, you know what? Let's just flatten this, make it look like a Pokeball, add a light, and we're good to go.
Yes.
Just make it work in Pokemon Go, and you can always sleep next to your favorite Pokemon. You mean I can sleep next to a glowing disc that like is glowing in my eyes and making sleep harder? Thanks.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Thanks for that. Oh man,
You
know what? I really want to wake up to Pika Pika. Like, no, I don't. No, I really
No,
don't.
I don't at all. God, come on.
Like, what are you gonna do? Are you just gonna have like Snorlax snoring and that's supposed to help me sleep?
No. They're gonna have their old Game Boy cries, the ear-piercing Game Boy cries.
Only the
That's gonna
Pokemon
be
company would think, look, we already found a way to dominate every portion of your life no matter what you're doing. We just had to figure out sleep.
Yep. Right.
That's all we needed.
Yeah.
We already made you play Pokemon Go when you're working. You shouldn't be doing it, but you're doing it anyways.
Or driving.
Or driving. You're doing it anyways. We already owned your time when you had time to sit down and play games with a 3DS or now a Switch. And you know what? We got to dominate now sleep. You need to make it so you're never not playing Pokemon.
Right.
And it's like, how do you play Pokemon while you're sleeping? How do you control people roll over the top of that thing or fly off the bed? Or what the heck does the thing even do? Level your Pokemon while you sleep? Okay, like what? Okay, that is not helping you sleep.
That would be actually really kind of cool. You put goggles on, and
Oh gosh, here we go.
No. Follow me. You know how you can walk with your Pokeball? Here we go. You got goggles. You can transfer a Pokemon to, and those goggles track your eye movement at night, and moves a character around walking. And then levels your Pokemon up that way.
Oh my gosh! So they're gonna take advantage of REM sleep.
Dang straight there.
Oh my gosh! No.
I just can't wait for the story that's going to come out for a kid who cheats in Pokemon Go Sleep by taking barbiturates. High score.
High score.
I can't wait for the first incident that one of these things blows up in your bed.
Right. That too.
It happens with phones already. People already know it. People still put their phones in their bed. Whatever. Their
I
problem. I mean, I keep my phone in my bed too. He was like, oh, but the radiation. I'm like, you know how much radiation? There's more radiation around me right now than my phone's probably giving me. So
Yeah, right.
if I die of head cancer, okay, well, I guess I died. I'm like, it's underneath my really thick memory foam pillow. It's life. And you know why I put it there? Because if I set it on the shelf, my kids take it. So, I guess that's gonna do it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you so much, Andrew243, for being here. Appreciate it.
Oh,
I
no
think
problem.
you're also on. I forget which one you're scheduled for in July.
It might be next week.
Was it next week? Was it back-to-back weeks, maybe?
I don't remember. I gotta look.
Yeah, I got.
That'll be interesting.
And I gotta see if I'm moving that one or not because. Oh yeah, next week was the weird one because of the 4th.
Yeah.
I remember I put on the thing that it wasn't going to be on the 4th, and then it's also my birthday on the 5th, which just makes everything even weirder.
Right.
And I gotta decide what I'm doing. Cause I don't know. I know Eric's like, do it on the 3rd. I'm like, I don't know. I have to see what works for me, and I have no idea at this point.
Nobody cares
and then I
about
gotta
what
double
works for
check.
you.
Yeah, I'll be like, well, this is the only day that works for me. How about you? No. None of it works for me. Oh, well, then I guess
it's a podcast of one.
A podcast of one? No. Here's what'll happen. I'll be like, look, we've missed too many podcasts. It has to happen even if you can't be here, Eric. All of a sudden, that's the podcast I somehow am able to find 17 guests for.
Yeah, right.
I can never find them when I want them.
Yeah,
but this one time, 17 of them, like, why can't we have... Oh, wait, you got Super Metal Dave and Dreamcast Guy and Spawn Wave and Player Essence and Bob Wolf and the list goes on. You got all these people to be on when I wasn't here.
And all your patrons all of them.
I'm like, I found out the key, Eric.
Yeah.
They just don't like you.
Yeah, that's definitely possible.
You scared them all away.
That's definitely possible. I am a revolting
And somehow
person.
Rob just decided to come on. And Zion's here from Nintendo Live. What's happening?
Like actually here? No.
Like physically here. Oh, he's performing. Oh, you need someone? Don't worry. I'll just stop.
Right.
What?
Yeah, right.
What? So we could have actually had 3 people in person and we only... What?
Yeah, right.
You would have actually had to test me bringing out one of the old mics?
Yeah, right.
What fun that would have been. It'll work.
Yeah, right.
It will work. They still technically work.
Yeah.
Would I have to levitate them so they're not touching the...
Yes. Yes.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this podcast, hopefully soon here we'll have the audio versions back up on iTunes and all that stuff. I'm not even going to go over all the stuff because the audio versions of the last 2 podcasts aren't up yet. I'm really sorry about that. It's kind of a billing situation on my end. I will get it taken care of as soon as I can afford to take care of it. No, I don't want donations or anything to fix it. I will take care of it as soon as I can. Otherwise, for our patrons, you will get the audio version this week early on Sunday, as always. And the video version is going to be right on time. So no worries about that. Again, I do apologize to our audio-only listeners. They're the ones that are still negatively impacted right now. So I'll take care of it as soon as I can. Outside of that, find the video version out on our website, NintendoPrime.net. You can also find it here on YouTube, of course, or if you're a Patreon backer as well, you get it early. I think that's all I got for you guys this week. Thank you so much, Andrew243, for being here. Is there anywhere you want people to follow you or anything you want to shout out before we go?
I'll probably be over, but go watch some SGDQ while you get a shot at it.
All right.
There you go.
Donate to charity.
Nice. There we go.
There you go.
Charity causes, always good. Eric, where can people find you at?
At Emo8790 on Twitter.
All right, you can find me at Ninty Prime on Twitter or at Nate Jantz. Don't worry about the Nate Jantz one. I mean, I am on it every day, but I don't ever really tweet from it. I just kind of go on it when I want to lurk people and have them not think it's Nintendo Prime lurking, even though I am Nintendo Prime, so I don't know what the point of all that is. I guess there's some people that have me blocked on Nintendo Prime that aren't blocked on that one, too, now that I think about it.
Sure, why not?
Liam Robertson. How long before you block both of my... I love you, man. You do excellent work, but, man, we had the dumbest spat in the world. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is Nintendo Prime Podcast, episode 111. We'll catch you next week.
Peace.